He just has completed his Manta style, and then right off the bat, as soon as he gets the Manta, we see he queues up. What's that? That looks like a Divine Rapier to me. What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Meme or Meta, and this is going to be a fun one because we are actually going to be looking at a pro player, and that pro player is none other than Miracle playing the Medusa. Medusa is an interesting hero that has been kind of thought of as terrible for the last, I would say, maybe 6 months or so. This hero has been deemed way too slow, too heavily nerfed, and just really not capable of fitting into the current meta. But I think that we're starting to see some meta shifts in 7.24, and so I think that Miracle's approach to playing this hero is quite interesting in the context of this game. So I wanted to look at the draft real quick because that sort of dictates how Miracle plays this hero and why I think it might actually be an okay way, perhaps an even meta way, to play Medusa in the current patch. We see that he picked it 6th, and then the Dyer went ahead and picked a Anti-Mage and a Puck afterwards. And obviously Anti-Mage with the mana burn is pretty good against Medusa, and then Puck is extremely hard for Medusa to deal with because it is so elusive and Medusa has absolutely no way to really like gap close or fight the Puck. So the Puck can just kind of be all over the map, all over team fights, and Medusa just kind of has to hope that the Puck messes up. Otherwise, there's no way that the Medusa can really do anything. So 2 really good picks from Dyer countering the Medusa in some sense. But there was a time where Medusa was kind of actually thought of as a counter to Anti-Mage because of a timing that you could hit where you could push high ground and Anti-Mage couldn't do anything about it. So that's kind of what we're going to be looking at here is Miracle playing this hero to a specific timing, and I think it's kind of a fun and interesting timing to look at. But like most games, we start in the laning stage, and nowadays there is a pretty heavy fighting meta around the bounty runes. There's 2 that are very favored to each side of the map, and so we often see teams starting out in a tri-lane to fight for the bounty runes, and then often even to fight for the first couple of waves in the lane. So we actually see that here. Venge and Clockwork in the bottom lane with Miracle on the Medusa, and he's just going to basically block the wave because the other team's blocking, and then they're just going to fight for this first wave of creeps. Now, in a tri-lane, your main goal is to try and focus on the heroes that are weakest, because if you can kill one of them or take away all of their regen, then suddenly you have a 3v2, which is very easy to win. And with a hero like Medusa, who does quite a bit of spread damage with the Snake, and a very strong early game hero like Clockwork, and then the Venge with the stun to set up, they are actually able to get a couple of kills very early on. Both of them go the way of Miracle, so a great start to Medusa here. And despite not having perfectly free CS, he is off to a nice start, and we see him at the top of the net worth with those 2 kills. Now, the rest of the laning stage goes kind of just as standard, pushing the lane out with Split Shot and Snake, just fighting for creeps, basically keeping the wave off the tower, making sure that you kill the catapults, and then, other than that, just sticking in the bottom lane. And to that end, we see that Miracle actually gets dove here when Slardar and Snapfire get a few levels, and his team leaves him alone. And so he dies, but right after that, Miracle is going to come back to the bottom lane. And I think this is a little bit interesting. A lot of times you would see a hero like a Medusa go to the triangle around 10 minutes or so, just because he almost has maxed out Split Shot. And in the past, leaving the bottom lane was kind of just the thing to do. There were more efficient camps to farm in the triangle. That's kind of changed a little bit because of the low ground camp that we have over here now. It's a little bit harder to farm all 3 camps at the same time. And also we have the addition of the outposts. So now that we have outposts, and even though they've been moved over here, I think that we're starting to see a lot more emphasis on keeping your outer towers alive. And that is because it really, really denies a huge piece of real estate to the other team, especially because you can now teleport here. In addition to this, this gives you a little bit more of a close by access point than previously you might have. I think the shrines used to be like over here, which is quite far away. Outpost is significantly closer to this tower, which makes it a little bit easier to defend. And then also because of the importance of getting that XP from the outpost. If you're able to keep your safe lane tower up, control this outpost, and then take the enemy safe lane tower and their outpost, the game is super straightforward because you just have a massive map control, farm, and EXP lead. So I think we're actually maybe trending towards seeing some heroes, specifically some carries, that can just kind of like stay in their lane longer than normal. Obviously, if you're playing something like a gyrocopter, you're probably still going to be rotating out early to pressure somewhere else. But with a hero like Medusa, you have the ability to kind of just camp this lane and basically be a brick wall for the enemy team to try and get through to take this tower. And then just farming the wave, keeping it pushed out, as if he were playing sort of that space creating role that we often see heroes like Sand King or Winter Wyvern take up. In this case, he's just doing it on Medusa, and he's going to rotate through the jungle here and there, but pretty much just stay in the bottom half of the map for the entire early game. Another really important part about controlling the bottom half of the map is that you have access to the ancient camps, and if you lose this part of your jungle to Dire, then suddenly you don't have any ancients at all, because the ancients on the Dire side are also on the bottom side of the map. So if you lose both ancient camps, then suddenly you are much less likely to get neutral items quickly, and also you just lose out on that really important EXP and extra gold that the ancients provide. Especially for a hero like Medusa, who can farm them super effectively, it makes sense that Miracle would kind of just stick on this bottom side of the map and kind of force his team and the enemy team to come fight in their territory. So we see now 16 minutes into the game, Miracle is still in the bottom side of the map. He just has completed his Manta style, a great item on Medusa right now, especially because we have Yasha, we've got the treads, we've got a faded brooch, and then we have this bonus movement speed from Stone Gaze. So anything that kind of increases your movement speed is really nice because you can kind of stack that. And then right off the bat, as soon as he gets the Manta, we see he queues up. What's that? That looks like a Divine Rapier to me. And this is why this is so interesting, because Miracle is going to be rushing a Divine Rapier at 16 minutes into the game, trying to hit this timing to beat Anti-Mage and Puck, because he knows that team fighting them is going to be nearly impossible. They have a Huskar who can hit a timing and also help take Roche, and then they have reasonably good team fight and save around the Medusa. I think the later this game goes, the harder it's going to be. He's just going to be suffering from bristleback syndrome, which is what the enemy team can kind of play around you and then kill you after all of your teammates are dead. So with the queuing of the Divine Rapier, Miracle is looking to hit a timing that the enemy team cannot fight into and end the game. And timings are one of the most important parts of Dota, and something that I think is probably the most misunderstood by pub players. There is a certain time when your hero is strong, and when your heroes as a collective are strong, and you need to abuse that if you want to win games consistently. So Miracle has really not concerned himself too much with this Anti-Mage. He's pretty strong. He's been having a fairly easy game, 300 CS already at 22 minutes into the game. But at the same time, Miracle is not concerned with that because he knows that it's all about this one specific timing that they're trying to hit. They take the Aegis, they get the Rapier, 22 minutes into the game, and now it's go time. And here's the thing about timings is you want to hit them and you want to hit them super hard. So what do? They don't even bother going back and pushing out the bottom wave. They don't even bother pushing out the mid wave. It's just 5 men down the top with the Aegis, with the Rapier, with Medusa having max mana shield. Of course, in the past, you would try and get the 1000 mana talent, so you would be insanely tanky, but there is no time to waste because it's all about fighting before this Anti-Mage can actually kill the Medusa by himself. Puck, fairly strong, but still not strong enough to fight a Rapier Medusa with Aegis, Snapfire, Dazzle, Slardar. You know, everybody's itemizing well. This is a high-rated game, but they are just not ready for this amount of spread damage and essentially just an unkillable raid boss that's walking into their base right now. So we're going to see Miracle basically just walk up to the high ground and start hitting the tower. And holy crap, does that die fast. Slardar is going to run in and try and fight, but it's just way too much damage. They even have to pop the mech to keep him alive. Puck jumps in, and Miracle just does not care. He's going to throw out the snake, regain a bunch of health, pretty much healing himself, because mana is basically health for Medusa, healing himself for the entire amount of Snapfire's ultimate, and he's just going to go immediately for tier 4s. At the same time, we see that Anti-Mage is taking racks. But again, this does not matter. This does not matter at all because the game is supposed to end right now on the first Aegis and Rapier timing, and that is all that Miracle is planning on. He's not planning for this game to go beyond the next 2 minutes, and so they do not care about their base. Both tier 4s are down, and they're just going to continue going forward. There's the jump in from Anti-Mage, there's the jump in from everybody on Dire, and Miracle is still full health, just killing everybody. And now the Ancient will fall. So, obviously, this is a singular example that I'm showing you right now, but I think it's kind of a cool one, and the idea behind it is really, really interesting, because not only is it taking a concept such as holding your safe lane tower because you're a hero that likes to get Ancients, taking advantage of sort of the new map orientation, and maybe it's actually better to keep your safe lane tower alive longer, and then abusing the fact that the other team has fully counterpicked your hero if the game goes beyond a certain point because of their mobility and just their general hero composition is better than yours. But there is a certain point in this game at which you become unkillable and unstoppable, and you just go immediately for the jugular at that point. So we can see that Anti-Mage massively outfarmed Medusa, and that's the graph of a team hitting a timing and hitting it hard. So with that being said, what do you guys think? Is Rapier Rush Medusa meme, or is it the new meta? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in another one very soon.